What's up, my fellow Planet Coaster fans? Today is the day that Frontier has launched the newest update to the game, adding tons of fixes and even a few new things like glass, coaster supports, and even fireworks. But that's not the only thing that's dropped. We also got a brand new DLC, the Thrill Seekers Ride Pack. Now, I assumed we would get a DLC along with the free update because that's how Frontier has always done it, from Planet Coaster to Planet Zoo. However, when we didn't get any trailer for it last week, I thought they were going to buck that trend. Lo and behold, I wake up this morning to see it was just completely shadow dropped on us out of the blue. And it includes the Vekoma launched family coaster, which is crazy because I was literally just talking to my Discord the other day about how we don't have that, and I couldn't build a Big Bear Mountain kind of ride for our franchise park. Well, now I can. It's like they are reading my mind. In which case, hey Frontier, can we get the paratrooper ride soon? Please? Pretty please, with a cherry on top? Or sprinkles. I know how much you guys love sprinkles. But anyway, it's only 2 coasters and 3 flat rides. A very, very small pack for a jaw-dropping $9.99 US, which is insane. It's not surprising considering the price of the day 1 DLC, mind you, the Vintage Fun Fair. That pack alone, if you didn't buy the deluxe version of the game, is like $19. I said it back then on launch day that I really hoped this wasn't going to be the future of our DLC pricing. That's like Sims level of pricing. But I'm a fan of the game, and I always will be. And I'm going to need those packs. All of them. Any they make. But come on, Frontier. I know inflation is a thing, but jacking the price up like that when it was mostly rides we had in Planet Coaster 1? Wow. Being a little greedy there, guys. And let's also take into consideration the state the game launched in to begin with. It's just, I don't know. But let me get back to today's DLC that we just got. The Thrill Seekers Pack. A total of 5 rides. 2 new coasters, 3 new flat rides. Well, 2 new flat rides and 1 return of a ride we had in Planko 1. Just unthemed. 5 rides for $10. Now I know $10 isn't a lot, but this is just slightly cheaper than the ride packs that we got in Planet Coaster 1, which usually consisted of about 10 rides or so. And to play devil's advocate, let's go back to one of the very first DLCs that came out in Planet Coaster 1, the Adventure Pack. It only had a few rides in it. However, it also had a ton of new scenery pieces that added a lot to the game. And a new mascot. So yeah, I just really hope this isn't going to be how things are done for Planet Coaster 2. I'm happy to get anything extra, but this is just appalling and really feels like just flat out greed, Frontier. In fact, the DLC actually launched this morning before the update that fixed the game did. But I'm not going to bash Frontier too bad. Nope. The update shows that they are at least kinda listening to the fans somewhat. This update could have gone a lot farther, but it did fix a lot of stuff. Or at least I hope it did. I've not gotten a chance to test out some of the guest behavior and staff issues yet. Okay, I keep going off track. Let's get back to the Thrill Seekers Pack. Both of the new coasters that we got are fantastic additions to the game. The first one we're going to look at is the Vector, aka the Vekoma Family Launch Coaster. Which, if any of you are familiar with Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood, it's that. I mean, it's literally that coaster. Even down to the triangular track. Now, Big Bear Mountain was a ride that I didn't think I was going to enjoy when they first announced it. But when I went to Dollywood for the opening of it, it's actually quite a fun little coaster. It's both great for kids and adults. It's the perfect mix of speed and high thrills without inversions. Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood won all kinds of awards for the best new coaster that year. And now we can totally create coasters just like that in Planet Coaster 2. In fact, I literally built this Big Bear Mountain quick kind of mock-up in about an hour or so. It's not perfect by any means, but it's close enough to get my point across. I call it Big Bear-ish. Once you have the DLC, you can find it by bringing up your Coasters tab, clicking down here under Launched, and it's like the second one over currently, right here, the Vector Limb Launch Family Coaster. This coaster launches guests of all ages into a whirlwind adventure. Features a linear induction motor, cannot invert, and for all ages. And you also have the specifications right there, like maximum drop angles, turning angles, etc. Now this coaster doesn't have a whole lot of like special pieces. You have your standard track, as well as drive tires that can speed up to 8.1 miles per hour. You have your linear induction launch piece right here, which can go up to a maximum of 65 miles per hour. There are friction brakes, magnetic brakes, trim brakes, and block sections. And that's all the track pieces that you can use on this coaster. The trains themselves are pretty basic and generic, which is perfect for retheming everything too, using custom scenery that we can do now in Planet Coaster 2. I could leave these as the little basic buggies that they kind of are here, or I could turn these into full-fledged little Jeeps. Almost anything that your creative mind can come up with. This is what I want to see from all the future coasters and rides that we get. Just very generic that we can theme ourselves. Next, we have the Big M, or aka the Mack Ultra Spinning Coaster, which is not Cobra's Curse or Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not even a multiverse coaster. Sorry, Leaf. It's actually Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City, or Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland. This is another great addition to the game that I am sure JLW is really going to love. Now, I didn't have time to build a custom version of this ride, but Frontier did add some blueprints for both the family launch coaster over here, Volt, which is pretty cool actually. I really like the sign that they have, and the color of the track kind of matches that. I really like that color actually. And for our extreme spinning coaster over here, we have Rampant, which is a pretty neat design overall. I do like the sign, not so sure about the colors though. And again, we have the very simplistic train designs right here. I mean, they're designed really, really well, but by simplistic, I mean not overly themed. It's not like we have a giant bird on them or something, you know? Now, I've ridden Time Traveler, and I can definitely say that these trains definitely remind me of that coaster. All you need is a little bit of steampunk design, you know, some gears and some piping and stuff, and there you go. This coaster can be found under our Coasters tab. Come down here to Special, and it's the next to last one right here, Big M Ride's Ultra Spin Coaster. This coaster can rotate its cars faster and faster until the world becomes a thrilling spinning blur. It uses an LSM launch system, it can invert, and is for adults and teens only. And again, we have these specifications there on the right hand side as well for drop angles, banking, inclines, etc. This coaster has a lot more options as far as track pieces go, though not quite as many as what the multiverse coasters have. So no switch tracks or drop tracks on this one. We have the standard track right here, as well as two different alternate versions, 2 and 3. You can do a chain lift on this one. There are drive tires with a max speed of about 8.1. Then we have our launch piece right here, the LSM section. There's also an LSM holding section, magnetic brakes, trim brakes, block sections, and then there's this special piece right here, the eddy current spinner. I don't know what this one actually does, as I've not had time to really test it out. It does offer some options here, such as clockwise, anti-clockwise, force applied, maximum spin rate, and it does seem as this piece can actually turn and bank as well, so it doesn't have to be just a straight piece. So I guess this is the piece you use if you want your coasters to actually spin a particular way. Definitely going to require some more playing around with. Now let's take a look at the new flat rides that we get in this pack. The first one is the 540, which I'll admit I've never seen anything like this ride before, so I don't know what to compare it to in real life. Maybe some of you out there have seen one? In which case, let me know in the comments down below where this ride can be found at. It's basically a round and round spinny type ride. Looks like you stand on these surfboard type of platforms, almost kind of facing one another, sort of. Once the ride starts, it begins to spin around, lifting these arms with the seats, as we'll call them, up into the air, and then those little ride platforms will start spinning themselves on each arm. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty crazy ride. I'd still probably ride it though. I mean, why not? Our next ride is the Strike. Again, this is another spinning ride that lifts guests up into the air on its arms, with seats attached to like a pendulum type of device. I feel like this one I've seen somewhere before, but I just can't think of anything right off. Maybe it was themed to airplanes in some way, or I might be thinking of just a similar ride. But yeah, this one looks pretty fun, I think. And again, if you guys out there know a real world example of this ride, throw it down in the comments below. The last ride in this pack isn't new. It's the Whirlpool, which in Planet Coaster 1 was called Psychola, I believe. It's based on a Chance Morgan Unicoaster, which I could only find one that was ever actually built, so I'm not sure if there were any others. The one I found was called Brain Surge and is located in the Mall of America. The original version of this ride in Planet Coaster 1 was modeled directly after the ride there. This is a ride that I probably, personally, would not get on myself. It just looks vomit-inducing to me. I think I only ever used this ride one time in Planet Coaster 1, and I doubt I will use it in Planet Coaster 2. However, I'm sure there are some fans of it out there, though, who are happy to see it return. If that's you, hands up in the comments and let me know your love of the Psychola/Whirlpool ride. So, yep, that's it for this $9.99 DLC pack. Only a few rides and coasters. Very few. Absolutely no new scenery, no transport or new track rides. But at least the coasters are two that have been asked for by tons of fans. The Mack Extreme Spinner has been asked for by people since the very first game, so it's good to have them. I just don't know if that's worthy of $10. I paid it though myself just because I'm such a fan of this game, but I'm really surprised and disappointed that we didn't get the Intamin swing launch like Pantheon at Busch Gardens. That's one that I really want to see added, as do many other players and coaster fans. Now I know I'm probably going to get a few people who watch this video and immediately start attacking me because I've said something bad about Frontier. And I know that I've hated on Frontier quite a bit, but I really do want them to do well, and I want to see this game supported for years to come with as much love as they gave Planet Zoo. Those who know me know that another one of my favorite games is The Movies, where you run a movie studio. I've always wanted a new version of that game, and out of all the companies out there, I think Frontier would be the only ones who could pull off a great spiritual successor to that game. Planet Movies, I guess you could say. But we can't just hide the fact that this launch for Planet Coaster 2 has been botched pretty badly. And if it wasn't any worse than the buggy mess of an unfinished game we got, the greed they are showing, nickel and diming the fan base like this is just appalling, especially in the economy we are in right now. I have seen many a player and fan of Planet Coaster just outright refund the game or not even play it anymore, going back to the original one. I am going to stick to it though, because I know eventually they will get the game fixed up better. It may take a while, and we are going to have to spend about $100 or more on a few DLC packs to get more scenery to build with, but it has potential, and the wait will be worth it in the end. I'm just going to try to do my best with what we get for now. Now, I didn't make this video to try to persuade you to or to not buy the DLC. I literally just wanted to come in here and just show off the new DLC pack a little bit. I also really wanted to show off my Big Bear-ish coaster. This is like the very first thing I went to as soon as I opened the game up this morning. Whether or not you guys want to spend $10 on this DLC, it's completely up to you. I think the coasters alone are definitely worth having in the game, but I also personally feel like they should have just been added as part of the free update. If not for any reason except just to say, hey, we're sorry we released such a buggy game. But anyway, guys, that's all I have to show and all I have to say. Hope you guys have enjoyed just kind of looking at the new stuff and kind of listening to my thoughts and maybe ranting a little bit about the game. I definitely know that I'm not the only person who feels this way. But you got to remember that this all comes from just such a passion that I have for this actual game series. But that's all I got to say. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little look at what's new in the DLC, and it helped you in your decision to purchase or not purchase and maybe wait for a sale of some sort. I will say that if you head over to greenmangaming.com, at the time of me recording this, the DLC is on sale for about $1 cheaper than it is on Steam itself. Or at least it was for me as being a longtime member of their site. So you can possibly save a little bit there. This is where I purchased it at this morning for myself. So until next time, wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and I'll see you next time.